Welcome to my drawing straight lines class. Do you remember when you were in school, maybe, and the teacher asked you to take out a ruler and draw maybe 10 straight lines that would stop maybe at 10 centimeters? Well, this is the same type of class, but the lines that I want you to draw will protect your peace, your time, your energy. They will act as bodyguards, protecting you from anything that will drain you and only let in things that will uplift you. I'm speaking on boundaries. Boundaries are straight lines with limits. Now, what happens to people that go through life without boundaries? These are the people that you will see that are overwhelmed, stressed, people are taking advantage of them, and they are unable to manage their time and energy. So, these boundaries are very important. Now, I was in a relationship once, and this person was clearly, violating my boundaries, not meeting my needs. So, communicating to this person, and he looks at me and he says, "What's a boundary?" So, can you imagine what that relationship was like for me? This is 6 years in at this point. So, those boundaries are very important. Your healing journey is very important. And this class is important because by the end of it, you will be drawing these straight lines in your relationships. Now, there are two types of lines or boundaries, as I like to call it. Now, straight lines, of course, is a boundary that you have drawn where you have communicated your needs. You have clearly communicated your needs. The second type of boundary I want to talk about is selective. In having selective boundaries, that is when you have a select group of people that you let violate your boundaries. Why? Only you can answer that. I'll use a job for an example. You may be on a job and you've already communicated with yourself or maybe with your spouse that, okay, I can no longer work overtime simply because I'm going back to school. Maybe you have children. I can't do it anymore. So you take that communication to your boss and you tell them, I can no longer work these hours anymore. I can only work 40 hours. Well, you check the schedule and guess what? You've been selected to work extra hours on your job after you set that boundary. So you go ahead and do it. Once again, you're sitting there overwhelmed. You're stressed out because now you're trying to figure out how you're going to complete the things that you need to complete. You've let your boss take advantage of you. And you have now you can't even manage your time and energy wisely. You see how quick that boundary was crossed and that chain reaction. Next boundary, or what happens when you have this select group of people that you let cross your boundary. I'll give you an example of a relationship. I was in a relationship for 6 years when this person told me that he didn't even know what a boundary was. So, can you imagine what my life was like all those years with someone that didn't even know what a boundary was? But I was in a place of brokenness then. But now that I know better, and now that you know better, I expect you to make a change. So let's get back to these boundaries. You have your straight boundaries where you've communicated your needs, and then you have what I like to call selective boundaries, where you let these select group of people violate your boundaries. Now, Next question I always get is, okay, so where do these boundaries come from? Once again, they come from your needs, and only you can determine what you need. Only you know your needs, and they may change daily, but only you can answer that question. Now, once you figure out your needs and you're ready to communicate your needs, you have to create consequences for those who violate these boundaries that you're drawing. There has to be consequences. And with those consequences, you have to take action with those consequences. You can no longer let people slide or get by with taking advantage of you or misusing your time. You can't do that anymore. Once you draw a boundary, you create boundaries with consequences. Now, what's going to happen when you create these boundaries? The people that were taking advantage of you, they're going to leave. So let's just tell them bye bye now. Bye. Good riddance. Bye. They're going to leave because these people are not going to respect your boundaries and you have made consequences. If they don't leave, you leave because they're hurting you. Now, for other things, good things is going to happen besides these people leaving your life or you walking out of their life is you will now be able to be your authentic self. You'll get to have your own feelings and clearly communicate these feelings and needs to other people without feeling the need to deplete yourself to make somebody else happy or make or help somebody else in another situation. You no longer have to do that. And when you create these boundaries, they are a form of self care because it shows that you value your own needs and feelings. And you are not responsible for how someone responds to your boundaries. You have your own needs. And also, people will know how to behave around you once you create these boundaries. I know we have all heard boundaries will teach people how to treat you. That is correct. Once you set these boundaries with people, they're not going to come in and do anything to disrespect you at that point. And also, the last thing is it creates a safe space for your emotional, physical, mental, and financial well-being. So why wouldn't you create these boundaries? Let's weigh it on the scale. Now I'm going to give you some homework. This is what I want you to do. I want you to get you paper, and I want you to write down all the people that you have drawn straight lines with. And then I want you to go to the next group of people, your selective people that you have let violate your boundaries. And I want you to self reflect as to why the people in your selective group are there and what is going to be their consequences for violating your boundaries. That is your homework. And that is the end of this class. And I will check back in with you next month to see how you came along with creating your boundaries.